Welcome. The 249th commencement of Brown University, which was convened on the grounds of the Meeting House of the First Baptist Church in America, will now continue, and we will begin with the senior orations. The first oration, titled Silent Sessions, will be given by Adriel Barrios Anderson.
Hi. Why do you love music? That was the question posed by one of my Brown music professors on the first day of class. He asked us to tell him in one word. As a musician, I laughed to myself, thinking, that's an impossible question to answer. While the question lingered, my professor began to play a recording of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. You know the one that goes, ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum. After that phrase, he paused the recording and asked, can't you hear it? Not the ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum, but the part in between. He was talking about the pause, the rest in the music, arguing that it was not the booming unison in the orchestra, but rather the collective silence that was most breathtaking. He thought the one word, silence, captured what gave the music shape and character. If silence can be so impactful in music, what kind of impact can it have in our lives and our society? Before coming to Brown, I thought of silence as absence, something to be skipped over and forgotten. Take, for instance, silence in a conversation. We usually try to forget, those uncomfortable moments when someone says something, but for a moment you don't have anything to say, and they don't say anything either. That exchange can be a little uncomfortable because even without words, we are still communicating. If we take the time to listen carefully, we may find that the apparent silences are filled with obscured or forgotten experiences that have not yet been given words. It is those silent, powerful moments, the in-between parts of my experiences at Brown, that I most want to share today. Because while our proudest achievements, like that of today, with all its pomp and circumstance, will persist in our memory, the quieter moments we had at Brown may fade, if not voiced. At Brown, I came to learn how instructive silence can be while completing a class project a few blocks from here on Angel Street. Across from me sat a woman who had suffered a terrible loss. Her child had died of cancer. Over the course of an interview, the woman shared with me her child's feelings and experiences before his death, but notably, at first did not discuss her own experience of grief as a parent. Preparing for the interview, I had come to learn that often individuals do not feel that they can grieve out loud. So when I asked the woman about her feelings, what had previously been a free-flowing conversation came to a halt. My stomach tightened as the woman looked at me and tears began to fill her eyes. The seconds felt like hours. as I waited for her reply. When she finally could speak, she said, "You never get over the loss of a child." Her words, captured in the transcription of the interview, were telling. But it was the gripping moments of our silent exchange that truly communicated the enduring nature of this woman's grief. Yet, the important message in this powerful moment would leave no trace but a small gap in the audio recording. I realized later that she taught me an important lesson sitting in those seconds of silence. Without ever proclaiming it in a lecture, she gave me a masterclass in empathy and a reminder to wait and listen carefully to what is not spoken. So much is left out of our everyday conversations, but that silence is filled with significance. Hidden in our stories are silences that critically shape our experiences, and like in music, can influence our character. For instance, after only months of being on this campus, many of us cannot help but reflect on our own stories. It wasn't until coming to Brown that I began to contemplate the facets of my story that go unsaid at first acquaintance. See, when you meet me, you may not hear in my accent that I'm the son of Panamanian immigrants. My father, at the age of 17, left his home and family with a one-way ticket to participate in this American dream. I find that seldom voiced is the tenacity and wisdom found in the stories of immigrants of color. See, when you meet me, you might not see that I stand tall only because I stand on the shoulders of giants, like my great-grandmother, a tailor, who through delicate care composed and weaved a path for her great-grandchild, stretching from La Ciudad de Colón to Providence, Rhode Island. When you meet me, you may sense confidence in my speech, but you cannot smell the delicious arroz con pollo at my mother's dinner table, around which I gained my voice. Mom and Dad, you instilled in me the confidence to speak here, a long way from our dinner table conversations. This is some of my often silent history, and I share it because each of us carries our own. Since we first arrived, Brown has challenged us with the task of seeking out the unspoken so that we may gain new perspectives that uplift and empower. And we owe it to ourselves to continue to recognize and share the value in what goes unsaid, especially in times when rhetoric aims to silence voices or discourages seeking the unknown. We must hold ever true to our commitment to seeking and, if necessary, defending the silent, because sometimes, as Nobel laureate Nellie Sachs reminds us, silence is where victims dwell. One of the most noble and worthwhile aims of scholarship is to uncover the unknown, those silent phenomena that pervade our world. Brown has encouraged us to seek lessons in silence, to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and broaden our perspectives with the hope that in so doing, we can build a more just and healthful world. A common refrain amongst students at Brown is, "I barely know anything." What a remarkably refreshing phrase to hear on an Ivy League campus, right? Now, don't worry, parents. we have indeed learned many things. In fact, it's because we've had the privilege to study right at the edge of our disciplines that we can peer over to the hidden places where innovation lies. See, Brown prepares us with the foundational principles of a discipline so that we can attend to the unanswered questions in the field. In neuroscience, for instance, many of our professors insist on teaching us how to study the brain and think like scientists. We interrogate the silent and undiscovered rather than just memorize what is known. And we have all come to see in our respective studies that the questions far outnumber the answers. Yet, from the mysterious role of glial cells in the brain to the veiled histories of marginalized peoples, I have seen Brown students dive headfirst into the unknown, seeking the stories hidden in between the cracks and casting a light on narratives rendered invisible. So, as we leave and people ask, what was it like at Brown? We can say this was the genesis of our first paper publication, the springboard for our startup company, or our ticket to travel the world. But that is not all that it was. Here, we learned during every moment. Because even in quieter moments, when we comforted friends, sat alone in libraries, or watched the blizzards of 2015, hot cocoa in hand, we grew. Today, often Brown students are described as lifelong learners because we know that scholarship is not reserved for the classroom, but it's a daily practice that can improve our lives and the world. Some of the most important lessons are shrouded in silence, and getting at them requires speaking their language by taking time to be silent ourselves. As we go out today into the chaotic world, remember to pay attention to gaps in the recordings. Let us listen, as Kerouac suggests, to the silence inside the illusion of the world. Let's listen, because in those hidden spaces lie the tools for us, especially the class of 2017, to orchestrate a more beautiful and brilliant tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Adriel. The second oration, titled The Idea of Deserving, will be given by Viet Nguyen.
Throughout my life, I've only seen my mom cry 2 times. The first time was at TF Green Airport 4 years ago as she was about to drop me off on the plane after orientation. I still remember the tears rolling down her face as we embraced in an overly dramatic goodbye hug. The second time I saw her cry was 4 months ago when I came home from winter break with my ears pierced and my hair dyed blonde. I actually still don't know which time she cried harder. I love you, Mom. When I was deciding between colleges, one of my close mentors gave me advice that I still now pass on. He said, every college will provide you with more or less the same education, but they'll each shape you in different ways. Imagine all of the different versions of yourself at the end of the 4 years at each of the schools, and choose the version of yourself that you like the most. For me, that school was Brown. These past few months, I've thought a lot about this advice. How has Brown changed me? Us. It'd be easy to point out all the obvious ways in which we've changed. Like many of us, I came into Brown as pre-med, and like many of us, I'm no longer pre-med. My entire freshman year, I barely spoke to anyone because I felt so intimidated. It felt like everyone else in my dorm room had a clear sense of purpose and vision. They had things that they were good at, things that they were passionate about. They were working on diversity and inclusion in the physics department, winning hackathons, or working to tackle the spread of malaria. There were clear reasons why they were chosen to be at Brown. On the other hand, I wore a bathrobe 24/7 and slept through my 2 p.m. biology seminar on a weekly basis. I hadn't read work from any of the leading thinkers and didn't understand most of the words used in my first year English class. Who is Nietzsche, and why is his name so hard to pronounce? I shopped and dropped CS15 3 times. It got to the point where Andy Van Dam thought I was a TA for the course because I showed up year after year. By mid-sophomore year, I was just about done. I was certain that I was in the wrong place. That year, I began attending workshops on this thing they called Impostor Syndrome, something that I'm sure many of us went through, trying to reassure myself that I did, in fact, belong. And each talk said more or less the same thing. The admissions office does not make mistakes. You have grit, you've worked hard, you deserve to be here. As I progressed through Brown, there was more and more reinforcement of this idea. Advertisements and fundraising campaigns all hammered in this point. Brown students are different. We are critical thinkers. We are special. Needing to believe that I had a reason to be at Brown, I drank it up. With this newfound confidence, I saw more subtle things change in my behavior. I noticed that the same ideas verbalized with academic language suddenly had more weight. And so I changed the way I talked. I changed my vocabulary. I tried to catch up with my classmates and began citing theories in everyday conversations using words that were unnecessarily long and convoluted. While these things aren't inherently bad, what eventually happened was I began to place more and more value on those behaviors, and consequently, the people that embodied them. It shifted who I saw as impressive, who I saw as deserving. I saw the repercussions of this troubling academic elitism take shape around me earlier this semester when the travel ban was instated. Many of us shared Facebook posts of an MIT student unable to re-enter the country. In our posts, we cited his academic potential, his future contributions to academia, as to why this was a travesty. While unintentional and well-meaning, this line of thought drew the connection between someone's ability to contribute to society, their accomplishments, and their intelligence, with how deserving they were of their rights. What does this say about the student from a less flashy school with a less than stellar academic performance? Are they any less deserving? It is especially critical to remember this during a time when celebratory terms of congratulations and words like deserve, earned, and merit are swimming in the air. We have worked hard. We have accomplished. But in Ivy League education, how many academic scholars we can quote, whether we've read Marx or coded Tetris, doesn't make us inherently any better or any more deserving than anyone else. Addressing our own insecurities about inadequacy does not mean that we have to overcompensate by turning to elitism just to increase our sense of self-worth. If you want to see hard work, look at my mom and my aunts, who moved here from Vietnam without knowing a word of English and taught themselves to be dental assistants. If you want to see grit, look at my dad and my grandfather, who worked until 4 a.m. every day delivering newspapers to make ends meet. Don't just look at us. If Brown has taught me one thing, it's that intelligence can't be captured by a piece of paper. Today, as we obtain our degrees, remember that we should not be celebrating how the degree differentiates us from the rest of the world. We should be celebrating the responsibility that it provides us to ensure that others have the same opportunities that we've had at Brown. We need to use the platform that a Brown diploma gives us to equalize the playing field to the point where having an Ivy League degree is no longer necessary to be heard. The inspired fire that I see every day in my classmates' eyes to tackle injustices, that's why I chose Brown. My peers, the tireless advocates sitting here today that continue to fight for a better world, that is the person that I wanted to become at the end of my 4 years. And to me, sharing that experience, that's the true value of Brown. We need to continue to fight the good fight, but remember that we cannot win sitting at the top of the ivory tower. Thank you to the class of 2017. It's been an incredible 4 years. Let's fight the good fight, and let's win. Thank you.
Can we give both of our student speakers just one more round of applause? They were terrific. No university is greater than its faculty. And at commencement, we recognize valued faculty members in a variety of ways. Those who are new professors, associate professors, and senior lecturers, those who are retiring after distinguished service, and those who are being honored for exceptional teaching. So I think we will start with the audendum degrees.
The Board of Fellows has granted the degree of Master of Arts audendum to those professors, associate professors, and senior lecturers who hold no other Brown degree, to the end that their names may be carried upon the rolls of the university as honorary alumni.
Candidate for the Masters of Arts audendum, please stand. By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the Masters of Arts degree audendum, and I grant to you all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree. Wherefore, in testimony of this fact, I will solemnly award these degrees to you after this ceremony. Thank you. It's not official till I say it in Latin. Videte igitur ut probe integrequa in alimentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum ut decet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Be seated. Thank you. Now I will ask my faculty colleagues who are retiring this year and becoming professors emeriti stand and be applauded. We salute you and thank you for many years of service. I will now call upon Dean McLaughlin to announce this year's Excellence in Teaching Awards.
At a ceremony earlier this month, the Excellence in Teaching Awards were presented. The awards recognize Brown faculty members for sustained and continued excellence in undergraduate teaching in physical and social sciences. I'd like to recognize each awardee individually and ask that they please stand and be applauded. The first teaching award is the Philip J. Bray Award for Excellence in Teaching in the Physical Sciences, and it goes to Professor Rashid Zia, Associate Professor of Engineering and Physics. The second teaching award is the William G. McLaughlin Award for Excellence in Teaching in the Social Sciences. This year's awardee is Naoko Shibusawa, Associate Professor of History and American Studies.
Every year, we select a number of outstanding individuals to receive honorary degrees. This year, we have 6, and we'll move into the part of the ceremony where we award them their degrees. Candidati onorandi nunc veniant. Now let the candidates for honorary degrees come forward.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa, Robert De Niro.
For more than 40 years, you have been a force to be reckoned with in American cinema. You have inhabited some of the most complex and indelible characters on film, including a conflicted boxer, a troubled taxi driver, a catatonic hospital patient, and a Sicilian immigrant who becomes a mafia boss. Your painstaking preparation for each role is legendary and has earned you the industry's highest honors, including recognition from the Kennedy Center, 2 Academy Awards, the Cecil B. DeMille Award, and the Stanley Kubrick Award. For your abundant contributions to acting, filmmaking, and the promotion of art as an essential aspect of our humanity, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. And in witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma.
Congratulations, Brown University class of 2017. Are you sure you want to do this? Do you have any idea what's happened to our world in the 4 years you've been here? Or 5 years? Or some of you 6 or 7, and one of you 12. Oh yeah, you know who you are. Brad. Well, the country's gone crazy. In movie terms, when you started school, the country was an inspiring, uplifting drama. You're graduating into a tragic, dumbass comedy. My advice is to lock the Van Wickle gates and stay here. But if you do leave, work for the change. Work to stop the insanity. Start now so the class of 2018 will graduate into a better world. It won't be easy, but you'll figure it out. You're Brownians. Did I pronounce that correctly? No, Brownians. Thank you. Congratulations.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa, David Diggs.
David, you started writing rap lyrics and spoken word poetry in your teens. As an undergraduate at Brown, you pushed the boundaries of theatrical production with original works that blended traditional drama with rhyme and crowd interaction. Your drive to create, to give voice to your personal experiences, has led to numerous albums and productions with hip-hop, freestyle rap, and sketch comedy troupes. Your Tony Award-winning performance as Thomas Jefferson in the Marquis de Lafayette in the musical Hamilton has marked you as a charismatic interpreter of outsized personalities and a true star. For your passion in bringing a range of stories to life through music, performance, and language, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa. So by virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you this degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Donald C. Hood.
A leader in the field of human visual perception and diseases of the retina and optic nerve, you've dedicated your career to understanding the complex interplay between the brain and the human eye. As the James F. Bender Professor of Psychology and Professor of Ophthalmic Science at Columbia University, you have earned 40 years of continual grant support for this important research and won numerous awards for outstanding teaching and mentorship. During the last 9 years of your 16 years on the Brown Board of Fellows, you served as Secretary of the Brown Corporation, bringing the highest academic standards, judgment, and wisdom to this role. For your ongoing commitment to discovery, your preparation of new generations of scientists, and your contributions to advancing Brown's mission, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the Doctor of Humane Letters, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Indra K. Nui.
Consistently recognized as one of the most powerful women in business, your steady leadership has helped PepsiCo become the second largest food and beverage company in the world and one of the most influential in the industry. You've instituted an effective worldwide strategy, a blueprint for product improvement, and a culture of appreciation for the contributions of your employees. Your concept, Performance with a Purpose, is shining a spotlight on health and social responsibility in everything the company does. For your long and distinguished career in management and the marvelous example you continue to set for rising generations of women in business, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Richard D. Parsons.
Throughout your career, you've established yourself as an expert in bridging the gap between government and corporate America. As a counselor to New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller and a senior White House aide under President Gerald Ford, you applied your legal and diplomatic skills to critical issues of the time, such as civil rights, illegal immigration, voting rights, and gender discrimination in education. Later, you carried that same flair into high-stakes roles with Time Warner, Citigroup, and the Los Angeles Clippers. Anybody from LA? No? Serving as a stabilizing force in times of trouble for each of these entities. The nation continues to benefit from your counsel through your work with the Rockefeller Foundation, the Apollo Theater Foundation, Jazz Foundation of America, and Teach for America. For your longstanding commitment to both corporate and civic leadership, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but some of us have been asked to just say a word or two, quite by surprise. But first of all, congratulations to the class of 2017. It's terrific. Secondly, when I agreed to accept this, I said, do we have to say anything? And I was told no. But I was misinformed. See, if I'd known that I was going to have to say something, I could have wore a cool hat like David. Instead, whatever. So last night, the president hosted all of the honorees at a dinner at her splendid house, and we had a chance to chat and share a few stories. And she asked me if I would share with you something I shared with a smaller group last evening. So for those of you who've heard this story, I apologize for repeating myself, but it really is directed to the graduates. I was saying that for many of us, and certainly for me when I was your age and at your stage, the notion of higher education, the notion of education in general was a somewhat abstract thing. Why did I go to college? I went to college because my father would have kicked my you-know-what if I didn't. That's why. And it was important, and it was to get a good job or whatever, but it was very abstract. It wasn't concrete. It wasn't something you could reach out and feel and touch. And then the following happened to me. After college, I went on to law school, and I got out of law school. I was fortunate enough to become a lawyer for the then governor of New York, Nelson Rockefeller, one of the greatest governors New York ever had. Now, I had to say it that way because the current governor is here celebrating his daughter's graduation. Congratulations to her. And I have to go home at some point in time, so it was just one of the greatest. In any event, I spent 10 or 12 years with him, and we became very close. And he invited me at one point in time when we were coming back from Washington, and I was looking for a house. And so he said, well, come live on the estate. You know, we got plenty of houses. So I did with my family. We lived on the family estate, which is up in Westchester. And it was at that point that I thought I would let him in on something I'd known for a long time. It was kind of a family secret. My grandfather, on my mother's side, whose name was Judd, had been for many years, in Nelson's early years, the head groundskeeper on the Rockefeller estate in Westchester. And so he thought, when I told him this, he thought this was the greatest thing he'd ever heard, and he promptly went and shared it with a bunch of other people. Turns out, as we were living there, a number of the folks who'd been working on the estate for years and years and years, one by one, sort of filed by the house where I was staying and said, you know, I knew your grandfather. I knew old man Judd. He ran this place, and he was a great guy. He hired me. He taught me everything I know about gardening or about plumbing or whatever. He looked after all of us folks who were just, you know, kind of the working people on the estate. And when he passed away, we all mourned him because he was such a great man and a great leader. And in fact, one of them told me that he had gone and told his sister that, he said, you'll never guess what happened. What? She said. He said, old man Judd's grandson just moved back on the estate. And she said, that's nice. Is he working in the gardens? You know, all my friends got a big kick out of it, but for me it was the moment of awakening. Because this gentleman who had been my grandfather, who died when I was really young, so I didn't know him, he had all these qualities of leadership, of intelligence, of diplomacy, of skill, of kindness, of compassion, of thoughtfulness. Somehow, the arc of his career topped out in his day as being the head groundkeeper on the estate. Whereas the arc of my career, which was just really getting started, I'd come back as the governor's lawyer and sort of went on to, you know, ultimately run major corporations and even a basketball team. What was so different? Was I that much more talented? Was I that much more gifted, or was it something else? And it was something else. It was the fact that two things happened. One, the laws in this country changed. And for the 100+ years preceding those cases that were decided in the 40s and the 50s, African Americans were allowed to enter the great halls of education as well as employment. And two, and this was the most profound thing, I had gotten an education. All of a sudden, I was a college graduate. I was a law school graduate. All of a sudden, it wasn't abstract anymore. It was my key to fulfill my potential to achieve the American dream. And so what had been for me a sort of just an amorphous, abstract good thing became a very real, tangible, concrete piece of evidence as to the importance of education and its enabling and empowering power to individuals of whatever stripe, color, race, creed, code in this country. So your education and the diploma you're receiving today, which is just evidence of it, it's not just a privilege. It's a tool. It's a weapon. Use it for good.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, Rosemary Waldrop.
Poet, translator, editor, publisher, you have characterized your work as an exploration of what happens between words, sentences, people, and cultures. With more than 20 volumes of original poetry and prose, you've experimented with language in ways that uncover new meaning in the details of our daily lives. Your trilingual identity has deeply influenced your renowned translations of avant-garde French and German writers, fostering fresh and informative intercultural conversations. and both your teaching and your management of Burning Deck Press with your husband have catapulted promising young writers into the literary world. For your genius with words and your outstanding service to your profession, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Letters, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma. Before we present the degrees, I ask that you all join me in recognizing students Aravind Alangovan, SCB, and Carlos Bleck III, PhD, whose lives were tragically cut short. Aravind and Carlos were distinguished and honored members of this university and will always live in our hearts. Bachelor of Arts, please stand.
Madam President, I have the tremendous honor to present the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Arts of Brown University. Ivalici Rodriguez will accept her diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Remain standing. Videte igitur ut probe integrequa in alimentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum, et decet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. I'll read this once in English. It gets repeated later, but so everybody knows what I'm saying to you. See to it, therefore, that you conduct yourselves properly and with integrity to the betterment of the Republic and to the honor of God, as befits those honored with this degree. Be seated, Bachelors of Arts. Oh, Bachelor of Sciences, please stand. Okay, come on, thank you.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science of Brown University. Stephanie Haro will accept her diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Congratulations. Videte igitur ut probe integrequa in alimentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum, ut decet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Please be seated, Bachelors of Science. Will the combined Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science please stand?
Nope. No, stand. Where'd they go?
So combined Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science, somebody who's getting both of those degrees. There's some of you.
There are a few of you. Okay, I
Okay,
see a
good,
few.
you're out there.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Madam President, I have the honor to present the recipients of the combined degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science of Brown University. Emily Schwartz will accept her diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Videte igitur ut probe integrequa in alimentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum, ut decet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Please be seated, combined Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. So now I would like to ask the masters in all disciplines, please stand.
Madam President, the master's degrees were conferred earlier at the graduate school ceremony on Pembroke Field. Anulowapu Agnes Ashideko will now accept her diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Videte igitur ut probe integreque in alimentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum, ut decet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Masters in all disciplines, please be seated. Doctors of Medicine, please stand.
Madam President, the Doctor of Medicine degrees were conferred earlier at the medical ceremony in the First Unitarian Church. Katie Baird will accept her diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Videte igitur ut probe integreque in alimentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum, ut decet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Please be seated, Doctors of Medicine. Doctors of Philosophy, please stand.
Madam President, the Doctor of Philosophy degrees were conferred earlier at the graduate school ceremony on Ruth J. Simmons Quadrangle. Alexandria Volkening will accept her diploma on behalf of all the recipients of the degree. Earlier today at the graduate school ceremony, the Horace Mann Medal was awarded to Guido Imbens, who received his Doctor of Philosophy and Economics at Brown in 1991. The award is given annually to a Brown graduate school alumnus or alumna who has made significant contributions in his or her field. Dr. Imbens is the Applied Econometrics Professor and Professor of Economics at the Stanford Graduate School of Business. He is also Professor of Economics at the School of Humanities and Sciences and a Senior Fellow at the Stanford Institute for Economic Policy Research. Dr. Imbens, please stand and be acknowledged.
So now I ask that the families of students graduating today, it's your turn to stand and be applauded. Now I ask all students who are graduating magna cum laude to stand and be applauded. And now I ask that all students graduating today stand and be applauded. You are all terrific. We salute you, we congratulate you, and we are so very, very proud of you. Now, please stay standing, and you get to do something that I want you to remember. Join me in singing the alma mater. Remain standing. The chaplain will now give the benediction, after which the 249th commencement exercises will be adjourned. The ceremonies at which the graduating seniors will receive their diplomas individually will be held directly following this program. Thank you.
Fly, Brunonia, fly. Soar radiantly in a troubled world. Bear hope aloft. Claim joy, confer dignity. May the faces of children be always your teachers. Find your day's office in usefulness and reputation, the service of mercy. Fly safely from these gates, and may your life's migration bring you home to this hill in season, and may your journeys and your dwelling be always in deep peace. Amen.